What's up, guys? Do you feel lucky here? Now, I know you clicked on this video because you saw the title and you wanted to scream at it, and you're like, how could you compare Civil War to that garbage movie Batman v Superman? Hold on a second, I'll explain. Now before I start, I'll disclose, I enjoyed both movies. I like Batman v Superman, I like Civil War. Not that they, no, this isn't about that they're bad movies or anything like that. I think both had their flaws, I think both had their ups and downs. But I think they have a lot more similarities that people are not comparing and contrasting between the two, that a lot of people are complaining about Batman v Superman but aren't complaining about Civil War, which is kind of why I wanted to make this video and kind of put it out here. Now, I went and saw Civil War on release night, just like I do all the other big movies. It's just what I do. Now, I mean, I was actually kind of excited for this movie, which has been a while for a Marvel movie because I heard a lot of good things. A lot of people saw it beforehand. There's a lot of stuff going on. And to add to this, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I was obviously more excited. Now, when it was all said and done and the lights turned on, I was just kind of like, huh. I was whelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed. I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, cool. And it just kind of was I was like, man, why? What is bothering me? And I made a review on the movie when I got home that night, and I don't even think then I had processed all my feelings. It wasn't until the next day and I started talking to somebody about it that I was like, holy shit. I actually had the same feeling when I saw Batman v Superman. And I was like, okay, I'm like, well, why is that? Why did I feel the same thing for both movies? And then so I really started thinking about it. I'm like, man, they both kind of had a really loose plot. The reason both of them were fighting in both movies was just okay, really? That's what you went with? In Batman v Superman, it's just Batman and Superman just didn't talk to each other before, hey, we're gonna start fighting each other and destroying two cities. We're not heroes or anything. It was just kind of okay, could have been solved very easily. You let yourselves be manipulated by a guy. I mean, granted, okay, I kind of get it, but at the same time, really? And now, Civil War, really? The whole premise was based on basically, oh, we're worried about, you need to be kept in check because there were casualties for world-ending events. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Fuck, if I were them, I'd be like, well, okay, General Ross, you know what? Next time, we're gonna sit back. Hey, we're gonna go chill on Asgard because Earth is about to be destroyed, but good luck. Billions of people are gonna die, but we can't help because you're worried about some casualties that we had before. Don't worry about it. No big deal. I mean, really? And you're gonna tell me that Tony Stark, the smartest person on the planet, is gonna be like, yeah, you know what, General Ross? I'm not gonna think twice about this, and you're right. I'm gonna let myself be manipulated by you, who I probably know exactly what you did to Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, and you're not an asshole or anything, but no, I'm just gonna let you're not smarter. You're smarter than me, General Ross. Obviously, I should just abide to what you're totally right. Really? And that's and it's just not to mention that it's completely out of character for Tony Stark. In the way they've established him in the MCU, not even close to how he is. To me, it would be more logical for Captain America to kind of be yeah, we need to kind of go with the government because, that's how I am, and we need to be kept in check. We can't have people dying on my watch. As to where Tony Stark is would be dude, we saved the planet. What the fuck? But I mean, that's the whole thing. Both movies were based on very, very loose premises of why they were fighting, and it could have been solved so easily. And I think it was just wow, really hard to kind of get into the whole backstory. And that's where kind of leads into the other thing too, is both movies just were very slow lead ups. Batman v Superman was probably more guilty than Civil War of that, but they both kind of it's okay, I get it. You're kind of going through it, but it's really hard to follow or even care about because it's just well, this whole thing is based on a very loose premise, and it's just well, oh my god. Now, when it came to the action scenes, both movies were phenomenal. Both had awesome fight scenes in one way or another, doing different things. They were both crazy and awesome, and it was great. But in the end, it was what it was, and that was a little stupid. And then the other thing too is where I really started comparing was the villains were both underutilized. you had two really smart people in both movies. I mean, Luther, it's just like, you know, okay, no, he's just going to be kind of crazy, manipulate them for a while, then, oh no, he's going to resort to Kryptonian things, taking her, like, you could have taken the whole Doomsday thing out of Batman v Superman and had Luther be the final fight. He has, in the comics, a giant suit of mech armor and kryptonite where he could take on Superman. Like, it could have easily turned into a fight of, like, Luther had some crazy mech armor technology, kryptonite that Superman was having a hard time fighting, and, you know, Batman, he's obviously having a hard time for Batman because Batman can't match the physical strength of electronics, and obviously Wonder Woman. It could have worked. It could have been done. It was a pretty simple solution. And Civil War, Zemo, the most underutilized villain ever. Zemo was an awesome character. He can manipulate anybody's fighting style. He can mimic it perfectly. And he's like a tactical genius. And you don't even give him a costume and you have him just manipulate from behind the scenes for the entire movie. And then you have the final fight of the movie be Captain America and Iron Man duking it out. Because, which leads into my next thing, both of the fight scenes, like the fight scenes between the characters, between Captain America and Iron Man and Batman and Superman, involved the billionaire's dead mother. Granted, a little bit different in situation, but it still was there. I mean, you know, oh, the fight ends in Batman v Superman. Oh, your mother's name is Martha? Oh my god, mine too. That's what, oh my gosh, that was the key thing to like snap us out right there. And then to set Tony Stark off because, oh no, this is what happened, and like, it's just so like it's just so against his personality. Like like I said, I understand it in both situations. I get it. People have emotions. It happens. But for the people that you gave these emotions is very against their personalities. Both are very calculating people and both very considered geniuses in the comics. They're both very high intellects and both really think about what they're doing and what's going on and don't let themselves be manipulated. Especially you could say, oh, well, Batman's old. Batman was in this. He should be over that shit. Like, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's always going to scar him. That's why he is what he is. But I mean, he should be the Batman that's in the comics right now that knows what's going on, doesn't let things get to him, and he's there. Like, that's that. I mean, that shouldn't even have been like a question. I mean, not to mention the whole reason they're fighting, it could have been solved way ahead of time. Whatever, at that point. But Iron Man has enough experience at this point where that should have just been like, you know what? I'm sorry, we need to get this guy. And then you could have had an awesome fight with fucking Zemo between the three of them. I'm sure for the first time, he'd have more than enough to take all three of those guys on at once. Like, that would have been cool too. But it's just completely underutilized villains. Completely. That was just so disappointing to me, especially at the end of Civil War. Like, that was the one spoiler I got before I went to Civil War, that Zemo was in it. And I was like, man, that's gonna be kind of cool. Like, I'm glad there's like an actual villain behind this whole thing. That this, you know, maybe the whole flawed plot of why they're doing this could actually, you know, maybe make a little more sense. But to use Zemo manipulating them the whole time, and I mean, come on, like, you don't even use him. Like, then he tries to kill himself. Like, that just does not seem like him at all. And it's just like, okay, whatever. Either way. And then, like, so the next thing that I saw is, like, because, you know, thinking about it is, there were heroes in both movies that were kind of just, they were also underutilized. You would have liked to see a little more from them, which I understand, you know, obviously Batman v Superman, the main focal points were Batman and Superman. And then obviously Civil War was between Cap and Iron Man, like, that was, you know, button heads. But, like, you introduced characters. Wonder Woman was a phenomenal character in that movie. Would have loved to see, like, she was just you know, she could have had a little bit more of a plot, like a lot more. That Batman v Superman is definitely more guilty of that Wonder Woman. And then the other one was Black Panther. Black Panther definitely had more screen time in Batman v Superman. He did enough, but I would have loved to see a little bit more happen with them and, like, kind of be involved in the whole situation a little bit more and get a little bit more backstory for both of them in the movies. I mean, I guess that's kind of hard to ask for. I mean, but there was a lot of things they could have flipped around these movies and added in better things rather than like, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's just like, okay, whatever, really. You know, I think that could have been changed a little bit. Sorry, I'm kind of looking at my ideas that I kind of wrote down here because I didn't want to make sure I touch on everything that I was thinking of. I really kind of wrote out because I really wanted this to be get my full thoughts out there. So I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with me on this, or don't, feel like a lot of people are praising Civil War, so great, everything. Like, like I said, it was a good movie. I just don't think it was perfect, and I don't think it's as good as everybody thinks it is, from the sheer fact that it has a lot of things wrong with it that are the same reasons people don't like Batman v Superman. I just don't understand it. And kind of the reason, and that's where really what I kind of want to get at is, I really think the reason why people like Civil War but they don't like Batman v Superman is because the MCU has been established. You have a connection to all these characters. You have, like, I mean, obviously Iron Man has been in how many, I can't even count how many movies. Captain America's been in at least 4 or 5, a lot of movies. Like, actually, this is like his 6th movie, I think, he's been involved in. Like, Iron Man's been involved in way more than that. Like, so it's just, there you have all these characters, so you care about them, and it's established, and it's like, okay, I can look past this. Oh my gosh, they're fighting, what's going on? That's where Batman v Superman, you had one Superman movie that most people didn't like, and a new Batman, and a new Wonder Woman, a whole new cast of characters were just kind of like, man, this thing just fumbled all around. Like, how the hell am I supposed to know? Why do I even care about these characters? And I think that's kind of where you got things. No, but I think, honestly, in all honesty, if you found somebody and sat them down and, like, he had never seen a Marvel movie before. He doesn't know, hasn't seen any of the Iron Man movies, hasn't seen any of the Captain Americas, hasn't seen the Avengers movies, hasn't seen them all. Like, just, didn't have time, haven't seen them, not interested, whatever. Well, we want to play an experiment with you. We're going to want you to go sit down and watch this Batman v Superman movie, and we want you to watch this Civil War movie. I feel like that guy would walk out of both movies and have the same questions, being like, what the hell just happened? Like, there was some cool fighting and stuff, but, like, what the hell? Like, the whole premise is, like, I don't, like, why? Like, what the fuck's going on with these characters over in this Civil War movie? What the hell's going on with these fucking Batman and Superman guys? Like, why do I care? What was going on? Like, that was so confusing. There was no reasons for that. But, like I said, I don't want anybody to think that I hated either movie. I just kind of wanted to put this out there, like, I think both movies had their flaws, and they had some of the same flaws, and it's very interesting to me that people are just kind of like looking past that for Civil War, but they can criticize the hell out of Batman v Superman for every little thing, but I haven't seen one person criticize Civil War. Don't worry, it had great action scenes, it was a good movie, just like Batman v Superman, it was great action scenes, it was a good movie, just confusing and convoluted. Civil War was just as confusing to me, because the whole reason they were fighting was just like, that's a simple solution. What the fuck? So, whatever. But, in the end, both movies kind of established something. Like, Batman v Superman probably has given me my favorite Batman in a movie setting so far. Like, that's true. I mean, there's much more I can look forward to in the DC universe that whatever I want to see is going to be built in there. And, same thing with Civil War. Civil War set up at the end, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you've got a whole separate different Avengers teams possibly. Who knows? Like, there's the different, 2 more Avengers movies come. Like, there's a lot. I just really hope that both these movies in the end lead to better things, that I can walk out of the theater after seeing the next movies from these ones and be like, had that same feeling when I saw the first Avengers movie. When I walked in the theater, like, man, that was awesome. I was so excited. It was the greatest thing ever. And I just really hope that's what I was really hoping for Civil War. I just didn't have it. And I was hoping for that same feeling with Batman v Superman. I just didn't have it. And I really hope that both these movies can lead off into more movies like that, because I think they definitely established what they need. It's just now they need to execute it. And so, that's just my thoughts. I mean, both movies have their flaws. Both movies have their benefits. I could go into a lot deeper digging into both these movies. I mean, I don't know if that's something I want to do or not, but of the differences and the compare and contrast in them. But I think I just wanted to kind of put my thoughts out there, saying, like, this is kind of my thought. Like, why is this? Why is this movie being praised and this one isn't? But yet they both kind of have these flaws that nobody's talking about in this one, but they sure as hell want to talk about in this one. Either way, guys, don't hate me for this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't like it, because, I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't going to like my theories, and I don't care. And please discuss in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. If you think I'm fucking crazy, go tell me. I don't care. It's not going to bother me. Either way, I think it'd be fun to discuss. I think I really want to put this out there. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, stay lucky.